Hi. All right, now that I'm in my super cozy spot, probably one of my favorite places in my house, I'm just really excited to get to chat with you today because I've been really busy. I know so many of us are so busy, but I feel like I just have this indefinite amount of time where I can sit here. I'm in a really good place energetically today. That is the best time for me to want to connect with people. My name is Amy. Welcome back or welcome. I am extremely grateful to have you here. As I tune more into my own energy, I'm able to be more aware of exactly what I want to share overall, what the theme of my channel is. I have been giving it a lot of thought and allowing it to unfold really organically and follow my own instincts on it. And to kind of summarize, it's very much about creating a space where you can come and feel safe, calm, present, and be able to connect to yourself, to your intuition, and to share what I've learned and what some of my experiences are with the intention of helping you to feel inspired to remember your spiritual self, to remember the aspects of you that are the most authentic and truest parts of you, and to help to clear away the human conditioning that every one of us has. And I've got to tell you that for me in my journey, that has been such a huge part of my growth. Looking at me, looking inward and seeing what is just not my authentic truth that I thought was, that I once identified with. And this kind of leads into what I want to share about today. It's one of my favorite pieces of wisdom I've learned that helps me so very much in all areas of life. That is a way that I tune in to know what my intuition is telling me. And sometimes it can be hard to understand what our intuition is telling us, because if it's not something that we're generally doing or we're just learning how, it can be a little bit of trial and error of, okay, was this my intuition or was that my intuition? And learning, it's like learning a language. It's like building a relationship with a new friend in a sense. What has helped me so very much is being able to put everything into one of two categories. And by everything, I mean your decisions, your relationships, situations, even what you're choosing to order, anything like that. The two spaces that it all falls into is either the feeling of expansion. Does it open you? Does it excite you? Does it make you want more? Does it feel good? Or contraction? Does it make you question or pause or feel a little bit unsure? Just seeing it from perhaps a space that you get a weird feeling about it. I want to just talk about the difference of expansion and contraction in general on a daily basis, and how important this is for each one of us and how our life is unfolding. Because ultimately, our lives are a reflection of the choices we are making, the thoughts that we are thinking, our beliefs. Those aspects are not going to be leading us to full expansion if we do not have self-awareness to them. If you have learned anything about human design, that is so helpful. It is like a deeper dive into aspects of astrology, but kind of like what your human blueprint is. You need your time of birth, location, date, the same as what you would need for looking up your other planets under your astrological signs. If you have not done this, I highly encourage it. You can just Google human design charts calculator. I am a manifesting generator. With that, I know that a lot of my intuitive messages are delivered to me through my gut. Every one of us has an intuition. Every one of us has the same access to it. But we might not all realize that. And I know for me, mine has grown and developed and opened with time and with my own growth and awareness. For me, it's usually coming from my sacral chakra. However, don't get too attached to that if that throws you off. It's really about what is your gut instinct, or for some you might say, what is my heart telling me? Because your heart is what literally connects your lower and your upper chakras. And that is when you are able to be in much more of a fluid space. But ultimately, my instinct, I feel first from my sacral, from my gut. I know when I get a funny feeling. Learning to trust what your intuition is telling you, on one hand, can feel really complex and complicated, but on the other hand, it's so simple. Try it with when you go to the ice cream store. Which flavor do you want? Which flavor feels like a yes to you? Or you go to a restaurant, what is on the menu that you know is just an absolute yes or an absolute no? Start to tune into how your body feels and what part of you is actually communicating that with you and what it feels like. How is this information being interpreted to you? If you start by learning how to do it with things that feel easy for you to know what a yes or a no is, you're going to be able to learn when you have bigger things going on in life. Now, I have a lot of big life decisions on the horizon for me. And one of the things that I've been doing a lot lately is simply getting myself into the highest alignment that I can, so that when I need to make these decisions, I don't have to feel stressed about it. I don't have to feel so unsure. That when it is actually time, I will be in the right alignment, that I will know what my expansion is, what my contraction is. And for me, waiting when I don't have an answer is also very, very valuable. Sometimes we can't wait. And that is why it's so important to be able to recognize what is your expansion and what is your contraction. What makes your energy want to kind of hide and pull in and doesn't feel so safe. And it doesn't mean it's an actual threat, but just doesn't feel good to you. Pay attention to those things. So often we are looking outside of us for validation, for answers. We need to trust ourselves. I used to say, before I had so much awareness to all of this, that my only regrets came from listening to the advice of others when my instinct told me to do something else. Now looking back, it's like, of course that is true. That is such a great example to me of what that leads to when I am seeking the advice and opinions of others. Now, it is so important to learn from others because they will expand you. They will help you contract, but they're going to show you what lights you up. You don't need to ultimately make the same decisions as someone else, but allow yourself to be inspired and expanded by people who inspire and expand you. And also recognize if there's someone that you've been listening to or that you've been following or someone you're friends with that you don't really get such a good feeling, you're left with a funny, icky feeling in you. Pay attention to that. Just because someone else is inspired by another person doesn't mean you need to be. And I was just having a conversation with a friend the other day about the fact that you could find 10 people all on a journey of self-discovery and growth. And what works for one person in the season that they're in might not be what is inspiring someone else. And fast forward a year, maybe they've all switched and they're all now what worked for the person a year ago is now not resonating with them at all. But that's because we are all in these different spaces of our own awareness and where we're shifting our perspectives to become more open and to become more conscious. And so we're going to resonate with the energy that someone is putting out, even if they're all using the same words. That is why you need to pay attention to what is your intuition telling you, because it is picking up energies as well. So do not force yourself into doing things that leave you with an icky feeling. That is contraction. And maybe it's too hard to start with the really big things at first, but grow that trust muscle within yourself and with the connection you're building with your intuition so that you can be able to do that for the aspects that are growing, that are bigger for you. This is even when it comes to relationships in your life, whether it's friendships, romantic, business, recognize the relationships that make you feel contraction or expansion. Now, of course, there are some relationships that we cannot fully cut out. There are also some that we can't have as much as we want from a person. In these relationships, like people we work with, like family members, even a neighbor, people who we are going to be exposed to, but maybe we have a hard time with them. This is where it's learning boundaries. And even that can come with learning what your instincts, your intuition is telling you. Maybe it's appropriate for you to chat with a coworker who you have a hard time with when you have a coffee, but say no to lunch. These things are okay. These things are really important. And listening to our intuition is as valuable as something as the ice cream flavor you want, as the city you're going to be moving to, or the person you are considering being in a relationship with, or the person you're becoming friends with and learning how to trust them. Your intuition is a part of that for everything. And the more that you are able to actually connect to that part of yourself, the more you are going to build that trust muscle, and the less you're going to be seeking the things outside of you, and therefore feeling left with that feeling of just that icky feeling, because there's going to be more of the contraction when you're doing that. Follow that, and also be okay with the fact that there is a season for everything. Sometimes something that once expanded you no longer does. Maybe you've gotten into a neutral territory and maybe it's starting to make you feel contracted. Give yourself some grace with that. Allow yourself to trust that, and remember that even really hard conversations matter and are valid. It's in how you deliver them. So maybe you realize you need to leave a job, or you need to have a conversation with someone who you have a relationship with that once was one way and is no longer that way, and it requires a conversation. You can do that in a really loving way still, in a way that respects you and the other person involved. I am just someone who has always had such a depth to me and really felt a little bit like an outsider at times because of it. My life is an unfolding of discovering more of who I am. I have always had a connection to this instinct within me, this depth. I have always been seeking deeper. And in that, I have learned that that discovery comes from an internal journey. Yes, it involves people and places and experiences outside of me, but I discover those by tuning into me, into that instinct, into saying, yes, this lights me up. No, this doesn't light me up. And following that and listening to that, and not trying to rationalize doing something just because everybody else is doing it. My personal journey has been very much about being such a part of communities based on human experience. And that's what it's about. We're here, we're human, having this human experience right now. But within that, I am a spiritual being having the human experience. And so I want to grow spiritually. And when I say spiritually, it's consciously, it's with self-awareness. It is everything in that element. And that matters to me more than anything else. And so I am coming up on a place in my life where I'm going to be at a little bit of a crossroads. I've been here before in a sense, and especially around my career, where I need to make a decision of, am I going to make decisions because they feel safe, because that's what other people would do in my situation or are doing in my situation, but it makes me feel contracted. I know it's not my yes. Or do I follow what really is lighting me up, but feels really uncharted territory and therefore pretty intimidating, and definitely feeling like you don't see many people my age doing the things that I actually want to do. And so one of the things I'm working through right now is shedding all of the aspects of that are not going to lead me to my highest alignment. So I am in alignment in a lot of areas of my life right now, but I also am very conscious of being able to tune into that more and more and more. The universe has been making it very clear to me what is in alignment for me and what is not. It turns out that there are a lot of things in my life that are no longer my highest alignment, and there is a lot that has been removed. I feel like I'm coming to the end of the removal of everything, but there are still a few more really big aspects of my life. And gosh, I mean, that's why I share this, because it's just as real for me as it is for you listening. And I don't share this because I'm an expert. I share this because this is real life experience for me. But it's really important, I think, to share this with each other and know that there are other people who are also working to kind of break the connections, the ties that we have, the cords to ideas of what life should look like. So I know I'm going to have a lot more to talk about on this topic, and I certainly hope that you got something from this and that you will take this with you and remember it as you go through your day and your week on areas of your own life and moments where you can start to tune in more and recognize where you feel more expansion or you feel more contraction, because learning this will change your life. And it's not something you learn once and then just use it for a little while. This is your guidance system. This is what will lead you to your highest alignment as well, your highest purpose. Please let me know where you're at, what you're feeling about this topic. I would love to hear from you. If there's more you want me to share about, please let me know that also. I can't wait until next time. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you haven't already, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. It helps me so much. I will talk to you next time. Bye.